Thank you, Magnus. Good morning to everyone. I have to start with apologizing. Normally my voice is quite nice. Today I am a little bit cold, so sorry for this kind of voice. Nevertheless, let me to say a few words before I introduce the speakers of the panel. The last conference in 2009 in Mexico, I was invited to come, but I couldn't. That time I was serving as the Minister of Environment in Czech Republic, and we were actually organizing the first wilderness conference of Europe, together with my unfortunately past friend, Mr. Václav Havel, who was a president of Czech Republic after the change, and a big supporter of the idea of wilderness. So I am very happy that this time I could make it, and I am here with you. And I want to remind that we are meeting in Europe, and we are meeting in Europe despite the fact that many people do believe that there is nothing like wilderness in Europe. And I didn't believe that sentence never in my life. I am a biologist. I have been in European nature. I come from Slovakia, actually, where you still can see the wilderness as it is. And when I came to the European Commission to work as a biodiversity director, I believed we have to do something for wilderness in Europe. And when I came with this idea, the reactions were interesting. People were looking at me like, what a fool is coming here. I mean, we have so many big problems, and he's going to speak about something what is less than 1% of the territory of the whole Europe, and by the way, mostly outside of the European Union. But I strongly believe that we need to do the thing in Europe to show that we are not only able to protect wild nature somewhere where it still exists, but we can do something for it also in the place where people have been exploiting nature for last, let's say, 5,000 years. And we have had some successes, and our session today is about showing some of them, not all of them. That would be too long. So with that introduction, let me first start with announcing a video from the Commissioner for Environment, Mr. Janez Potočnik, who is a great supporter of the nature conservation in Europe and who couldn't come in person, but who was so kind to provide us with his words by video recordings. So now we will hear Mr. Potočnik.
Which is focusing on many of the key issues we face in protecting and restoring wild areas in ways that also benefit our societies. I'm sorry, I cannot be with you in person. Europe's nature has been very strongly shaped by millennia of dense human intervention, more so than other continents. In spite of the impact this has had, we have managed to maintain a lot of valuable nature and biodiversity, which we are all committed to conserving and restoring. Through its biodiversity strategy, the European Union has set itself the objective of halting and reversing the loss of biodiversity and ecosystem services by 2020. The Natura 2000 network of areas of high biodiversity value is critical in helping us achieve this goal. Natura 2000, with more than 26,000 sites covering 80% of the land area in the European Union, as well as an increasing part of our marine waters, is an example of the extraordinary degree of commitment of the European Union to promote high standards in nature conservation adapted to local conditions and cultures. But Natura 2000 is a much wider concept than just nature protection. It is based on the idea of ensuring both sustainable livelihoods for people and healthy ecosystems in areas which are still rich in nature. I'm convinced that a better use of our natural capital will underpin many opportunities for sustainable development in the future. Healthy ecosystems greatly increase our ability to regulate floods and climate, purify water, and secure the pollination of our crops. Nature networks like Natura 2000 also create significant opportunities for recreation and tourism. These networks are the backbone of green infrastructure on which the European Commission has recently brought forward some ideas. Wilderness and wild areas have an important role to play in strengthening the benefits of green infrastructure. They only account for a small part of Natura 2000, but the fact is that almost all the remaining wilderness areas in the European Union are covered by the Natura 2000 network. As compared to other areas, these naturally functioning ecosystems have, in addition to their important contribution to biodiversity, an even greater capacity to deliver some environmental services, as they are likely to be more resilient to external impacts such as climate change. Through their specific potential for nature tourism, they can also offer valuable income for employment to local communities and landowners. The question is, how can we take action specifically on wilderness and wild areas? The European Parliament has called for greater emphasis on this. We recognize that there are a number of nature networks where so-called non-intervention management will be an important conservation goal. This is why we have developed guidelines on wilderness in Natura 2000 to assist member states who choose to pursue this management option. We are also in the process of developing a register to record the remaining wilderness areas in Europe. However, there is still a great deal to do to restore and manage the sites in the Natura 2000 network effectively. At a time of limited and even shrinking public finances, there is a need to find more cost-effective management solutions to strengthen synergies and integrate nature more successfully into key land use policies. We are using the European Union Life Fund to help people develop and test practical solutions on the ground. We are seeking to link this support with other sources of private funding and other financial mechanisms in support of biodiversity, such as market-based instruments, could also play a more important role. We are also working together with our international partners to protect and enhance our common natural capital. This will require mobilizing the resources necessary to deliver on our commitment under the Convention on Biological Diversity. Ladies and gentlemen, investing in nature is investing in our future. Securing the necessary support for nature in these difficult economic times is not always easy. But I'm convinced that nature pays us back many times over. Our analysis shows that every euro invested in Natura 2000 yields as much as 50 euro. This is a return on investment that is hard to beat. We need to spread this message more widely and make sure it is understood by our political heads. I therefore congratulate the organizers of this conference and the government of Spain for bringing the World Wilderness Congress to Europe, and I wish you a very successful WILD10 conference. Thank you for your attention.